span of just 2 days. The Mind Unleashed reports that on Tuesday, the AFP raided the home of Australian journalist Annika Smethurst, seeking information related to her investigative report last year, which exposed the fact that the Australian government has been discussing the possibility of giving itself unprecedented powers to spy on its own citizens. On Wednesday, the AFP raided the Sydney headquarters of the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, seizing information related to a 2017 investigative report on possible war crimes committed by Australian forces in Afghanistan. In a third, also ostensibly unrelated incident, another Australian reporter disclosed this week that the Department of Home Affairs has initiated an investigation of his reporting on a story about asylum seeker boats, which could lead to an AFP criminal case, saying he's being pressured to disclose his source. The Trump administration has made clear their anger toward Venezuela's government also extends to Cuba. And that was shown again with the administration imposing new restrictions to prevent Americans ever setting foot on Cuban soil. The new restrictions that took place Wednesday target educational trips as well as cruise ships, forbidding all cruises from stopping in Cuba for recreational purposes. There was no grace period for ships already en route. Antiwar.com reported it created immediate chaos among cruise operators and a number of scheduled cruises that were to stop in Cuba as part of their voyages, having uncertain futures, with Carnival saying they won't be going to Cuba, but they will be going someplace in the future. Some reports claim the move was meant to punish Cuba for its ties to Venezuela, though others suggested the administration had an interest in punishing companies that had resumed operations and travel to Cuba during the Obama era, when legal restrictions were lifted. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A month after the death of leader Kim Jong-il, North Korea's 24.5 million citizens have returned to their regular daily routines this week, holding a festive synchronized disco jump rope gala in Pyongyang's main public square. Life in the hermetic communist nation is reportedly beginning to normalize following the protracted mourning period, with citizens once again donning their brightly colored uniforms and performing intricate gymnastics routines in perfect unison.
It is an inspiring sight to see so many loyal citizens find the strength to unfurl their long silken streamers and do dozens of tandem backflips set to dance music.
Observers reported that new North Korean leader Kim Jong-un nodded once in approval of the disco jump rope gala, signaling an official transfer of power.
A recent study from the Centers for Disease Control finds that over 100 million children are being exposed to harmful levels of stupidity in their own homes. Hear the debate about secondhand ignorance on the next In the Know.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Live with you tonight, like we're live every night of the year. We do this every day because we like doing it. We love it. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. So if you would like to join in our conversation, please give us a call. You can also hit us up on Discord. Discord is a little app you're going to load on your PC, on your Macintosh, on your cell phone. You're going to use your high-quality microphone, and you are going to use your high-speed internet, but it's going to sound like you are right here in the studio with us, which is pretty cool. The us in studio tonight is Chris.
And Michael.
And I found a story that I thought was kind of interesting in that Bernie Sanders was attending Walmart's shareholders meeting.
Really? Does that mean Bernie is a Walmart shareholder?
That is an unanswered question. I kind of skimmed this after we were discussing this before the show. I wonder if Bernie owned some shares in Walmart, but he wasn't there to talk about business as usual at Walmart. Of course, he was there to talk about the minimum wage and how much people should be paid in a Bernie world where economics don't exist, and you can just pull numbers out of thin air, like $15 an hour, and say that is a living wage.
Yeah, well, if $15 an hour, that's not enough. We need to make the minimum wage $100 an hour.
Oh, you're not thinking big enough. I'm going to say $150 an hour. I think that, regardless of where you're at, that will.
That's a living wage for anyone.
It would be. It certainly would be for me. Could you live on $150 an hour?
Oh yeah. Doesn't matter how big your family is. You could live on $150 an hour.
That should be our living wage. I say that facetiously. The problem is that economics, the laws of economics, don't care what Bernie Sanders says, and the market determines wages. I hate to break it to you, but in this case, Bernie Sanders was on hand at Walmart's annual shareholder meeting as the retailer CEO said Congress should hike federal minimum wages. There you go. Because Bernie says it and because the CEO of Walmart say it, that must mean it's a good idea.
So the CEO of Walmart is also saying that the government should raise the minimum wage.
He is.
Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what you're hearing. So Walmart, and this I don't think is really covered in the article, but Walmart does pay most employees more than federal minimum wage.
Oh yeah, they're not. They've been pretty trailblazing in that respect.
They have been. The problem is that maybe
they haven't got credit for it, but
a lot of small businesses probably aren't able to pay the wages that Walmart does.
Yeah, the little mom and pops, they can't pay as much as Walmart does.
Right.
They can't give as good benefits.
So to be just a fact is sometimes when government sets artificial rates, then that helps squeeze out competition.
Oh yeah.
So,
This is not the Walmart CEO advocating for the workers. This is the Walmart CEO trying to shut down mom and pop businesses.
Right. If they are losing business to other places, then they can solve that problem by if you can't just hire employees at $11-12 an hour and they're still working for mom and pops, then if you raise the payroll for mom and pop shops, then this is what's going to happen. This is how economics work. Chief Executive Doug McMillon told shareholders at his company's annual meeting that $7.25 an hour is too low. It's too low. I don't know exactly what the number is, but Michael and I have already solved this issue tonight. For the first time, you have heard somebody bring up the idea of the $150 an hour minimum wage.
That's what we should go with.
I'm trying to think. There's just not a good jingle that goes with that.
Fight for 150.
There's got to be a rhyme in there, Michael. Well, you and I just aren't made for this socialist stuff.
Yeah, I'm not very good at this.
We'll keep working on it. Walmart CEO Doug McMillon is adding his voice to those calling for an increase in the federal minimum wage. Addressing an audience of shareholders and presidential candidate Bernie Sanders at the retailer's annual meeting Wednesday, McMillon fended off the Vermont senator's accusation that his company pays, quote, starvation wages. Starving people, evidently, in line at the annual meeting of Walmart. Over the past 4 years, Walmart, quote, invested an incremental $4.5 billion in pay beyond our traditional annual wage increases for our U.S. stores and club associates, said McMillon, who added of the minimum wage, unchanged since 2009, is too low. With McMillon at the helm, Walmart raised its starting wage to $11 an hour at the beginning of 2018, and earlier this year began giving U.S. hourly workers paid time off, but has not budged on calls from Sanders and others to match Amazon's $15 an hour minimum. Amazon in October 2018 hiked its minimum hourly pay to $15 with CEO Jeff Bezos declaring, quote, "We listen to our critics," unquote.
Well, the thing about Amazon's $15 an hour is you got to work a lot harder at an Amazon warehouse.
I don't think there is a comparison between a greeter at a store at Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
You don't say you're a greeter. And not say that those guys...
Oh, you can't say you're a greeter anymore. They got rid of that position.
Oh, you're kidding.
No.
What are they now?
They just work elsewhere in the store.
Really?
Or they got laid off.
What a shame.
There are no more greeters.
Oh, is that because of paying a higher wage for what the job was worth? That's sort of what happens.
That's exactly what happens.
Jobs go away when jobs are required by government to receive a higher wage. Quote, it's clear our actions and those of other companies that the federal minimum wage is lagging behind, unquote, said McMillan, who called on Congress to increase the federal minimum. Quote, any plan should take into accounting phasing and cost of living differences to avoid unintended consequences, unquote. He added, well, that's a mouthful, but what he's saying is yes, you should look at cost of living differences. So if let's say $15 is a number because they seem to like this fight for 15. Fight for 15 bucks an hour may work really well in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
San Francisco.
It might be yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah, compare your cost of living in Seattle or anywhere else to, a Bozeman, Montana. Is that going to be comparable? I don't know. I don't know what the
No, it's a lot
wage
cheaper.
is.
It's a lot cheaper to live in one city versus a little small town.
Yes, and you're going to have those differences. And I'm sorry, but, if you intend for people to live and work in downtown, San Francisco is a great example, or New York City, you're looking at two places that have had rent control, and they have extremely high rent because of rent control. That's another good myth. I'm sorry, but rent control does exactly the opposite of what you say it will do. It will increase the cost of housing.
Yeah, I just saw a headline earlier today. I didn't actually pull up the story. That said the price of housing in New York for I think it was a one-bedroom apartment had gone up to $3,000 a month.
I don't know for sure, but that wouldn't surprise me. When you do rent control, what you've done is restricted the amount of money somebody can make by renting out apartments, for example. And when you do that, that makes those people, number one, less inclined to put any money into it because they're not going to get any more money in rent. And as soon as they are able to unload that building, they will, or they will bulldoze it and they will create instead luxury condominiums or something that is outside of the scope of what can be rent controlled.
Right.
So that's what you've done, San Francisco. That's what you've done, New York. Most recently, that's what you've done, Portland, Oregon. And these things always come back to bite people in the butt. The problem is it sounds good. It feels good when you pass it. It sounds good when you vote for those politicians who bring this stuff up. But the end results, the laws of economics, they do what they're going to do, whether you like it or not.
It's the old saying again, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
That it is. 855-450 free. What do you think? What do you think about Walmart saying they're going to call on Congress to raise this minimum wage? 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished. Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL. I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-453. That's our toll-free number. That's free as in freedom. Free is in no free lunch, Senator Sanders. And you can also hit us up on Discord. You can find out more information at discord.lrn.fm. But I wanted to tell you about something. Bitcoin.com is your premier source for everything Bitcoin Cash related. Bitcoin.com can help you choose the best Bitcoin Cash wallet, buy Bitcoin Cash, and show you where you can spend your hard-earned Bitcoin Cash. You can also read the latest news or engage with the community on the forums. Learn more about that at bitcoin.com. Also, localbitcoin.com should have launched a couple days ago, right?
Yeah, June 4th they launched on Tuesday, local.bitcoin.com.
Sweet. So what that means is this is a place you can meet other Bitcoin enthusiasts, Bitcoin Cash enthusiasts, and purchase it directly from somebody else without having to go through a online exchange or something crazy like that. So we're happy to see that. That's a good move for the Bitcoin Cash people. But we've been talking about Bernie, we've been talking about Walmart, and this call yet again for a higher minimum wage. And the long and the short of it is $7.25 at the federal level, which means that no state can have a minimum wage that's lower than $7.25. Well, that's just too low. The people that don't understand basic economics say that number needs to be higher. It needs to be $10 an hour, or it needs to be $15 or $20, or as Michael and I going on the record today. Mark your calendars. This is what, June 5th? June 6th?
June 6th.
June 6th. Well, we are on the record calling for a $150 minimum wage.
Yes,
now,
let's just make everyone have a living wage.
Yes, there we go. And this will immediately make almost every job in the United States illegal because there's a whole lot of jobs that are not worth $150 an hour. No offense to anybody who may be in one of these jobs, but if you're working in fast food, you're probably not generating enough revenue to cover everybody on your shift at $150 an hour. Your business is probably going to lose money.
Yeah, probably going to happen.
If you are a small business owner and you have to pay everyone working $150, you will probably go out of business. So you can scoff at that and say, well, Chris, you're talking about $150 an hour. But for every job has a limit to what it can afford to pay, what it is worth, its value. And if that continues, then you will have to increase the cost of your products. You will end up pricing yourself out of the marketplace. And companies that are bigger, that can do things, they have economies of scale that they can take advantage of, like, Walmart. They can absorb those fees easier than the average mom and pop. We're going to go to the phones where we have Tom from New York. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Hello?
Yep,
we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Hello?
Hold on. Let's try this.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Now I can hear you. I couldn't hear you a second ago. Anyways.
Go ahead.
First of all, let me say I think the ideal minimum wage would be $0 an hour. But
I agree with that.
I was wondering if you had heard about the Steven Crowder controversy with YouTube.
Just a little bit, and I know, Michael, you were looking into it a little bit. He got defunded.
Yeah, YouTube demonetized his channel. That's about all I've got right now.
Yeah, so what happened, I guess, is... So what first happened was, I guess there's this guy named Carlos Meza over at Vox, and he does all these, like, leftist videos. He does all these anti-capitalist videos, and mainly he does anti-Fox News videos. So Steven Crowder did all these response videos, and he kind of pokes fun at him. He, like, calls him a gay soy boy, and the one guy, the Carlos Meza guy, he was crying because he's like, oh, he's making fun of me because I'm gay and I'm Hispanic. And so YouTube said they were going to demonetize him, but now YouTube also says that they were going to introduce new guidelines to try and combat those types of videos, like the types of videos Steven Crowder put up.
Apparently, apparently these two events were not, it wasn't tied to one thing. Like, according to YouTube says that we've been working on this new version of our community standards or whatever crap they're calling it today, and it just happened to sort of coincide with a high-profile story about the Steven Crowder situation.
Yeah, it turns out that YouTube actually demonetized a whole bunch of people this last week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But from what I've heard, that's basically what I'm hearing. But I've heard that a lot. I'm trying to think what else I forgot what else I was going to say.
Well, that's okay. I can tell you that, the only thing I know about Steven Crowder is the meme of him sitting behind a table, and it says, tell me or change my mind. That's the only thing. I don't even know what he was originally asking to have his mind changed about, but you see that meme a lot. I think find
it was, male privilege doesn't exist.
Oh, possibly.
There's a bunch of them. He does this whole video series where he does, like, abortion is murder, change my mind. Climate change doesn't exist, change my mind.
Right.
Like, conservative talking point, change my mind. And, like, everybody has to go up to him and try and change his mind, and he always goes on a liberal college campus.
Right. So that's kind of clever. I get that. If all he were doing were just bashing gays and making fun of Carlos Maza and making him cry. That's not really my idea of entertainment, but you know what? It's free speech, and he has every right to say things. He also has the responsibility, unfortunately, he's going to suffer consequences for some things that he does say, sometimes by government, which is completely wrong, but sometimes it's in the marketplace, and then outlets like YouTube are either going to sink or swim by the decisions that they make. Final thoughts?
Yeah. But yeah, I also heard that right now there are people thinking there's going to be another adpocalypse, because what happened a couple of years back, like 2 or 3 years back, YouTube had this thing called the adpocalypse, where all these people that were getting money off of YouTube, that were monetized channels, weren't getting paid for what they were doing, and eventually they did get paid. But he said that from what he said that he's talked to the YouTube executives, and he said that he thinks that there's going to be another adpocalypse.
He may very well be right. Tom, thanks for the call. And YouTube periodically does this. Whoever is in charge at YouTube, periodically it seems like they've changed their mind about what is entertaining and what's acceptable and what they're willing to take. And sometimes it's just public uproar over one thing or another. 855-450 free. What do you think? Should YouTube be free to demonetize what appear to be generally conservative hosts? Oftentimes it's conservatives and not liberals. Give me a call and let me know what you think. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's our toll-free number where you can join the conversation. We've been talking about calls from the CEO of Walmart to raise that damn minimum wage because $7.25 is just too low.
Yeah.
And we got Bernie Sanders showing up at Walmart's shareholders meeting.
You can't feed a family of 4 on $7.25 an hour?
Yes, or a family of 18, evidently, because they don't qualify exactly what counts for a living wage. And I guarantee you probably can't feed a family of 2 who lives in downtown San Francisco for $7.25 an hour.
Oh, no.
So, again, these are random numbers. They are feel-good policies that are supposed to make you believe that Bernie has your best interest in heart. What minimum wages are very good at is making certain jobs illegal and putting pressure on small businesses so that they end up losing out.
Not to mention it cuts the lower rungs off the economic ladder so that people just starting out or people that are already poor have a harder time getting up in the world.
Getting a job in the first place.
Right.
And that, to me, is what the minimum wage was for. The only time I worked for minimum wage was when I was in high school. You know?
Yeah.
That was it. And it was that first job. I'm going to start out at $7.25. It wasn't $7.25 when I was in high school.
Yeah, it wasn't $7.25.
Yeah.
It might have been just a little bit smaller than that.
Yeah. But the point is you don't stay there. Minimum wage is what you would pay. Unfortunately, you would pay someone who has basically no skills, and they're not going to generate a lot of revenue for you as the employer. That's the idea of a minimum wage, was to get people that
get them started.
The first rung on the ladder. That's a great way to put it, Michael. But the idea that government can instantly pick, exactly what the minimum wage should be is a farce. You cannot put down a blanket number and expect it to apply to all situations. And in the end, you're going to hurt small businesses. You're going to make it harder for younger people to be employed, for people with lower skills to be employed. And what we should be doing is removing the minimum wage entirely, like the caller suggested.
Yeah.
Tom from New York, it's exactly what you need to do. And let the market do its thing. Somehow, the market, with no intervention from government other than sales taxes and things like that, can figure out how much a loaf of bread should be. Nobody. There is no department in the United States. There is no Department of Bread, other than the IRS. There is no department that dictates what bread should cost.
No, that's not how it works.
How it works is you decide as a consumer what you're willing to pay for a loaf of bread, and then people who make bread will decide whether or not they want to try to sell it to you. And if you're not willing to pay a certain price, then somebody else is going to come along who's going to offer a lower
Somebody
cost
might,
loaf of bread.
And there's another thing about the free market too, is that I went to Walmart actually and bought bread within the last week, so I did take a minute to survey kind of what the prices were of various different kinds of bread. You know,
Sure.
You've got the cheap Walmart Great Value loaf of bread for $1.39,
right?
And you've got the expensive artisan bread for $4 or $5 or whatever,
right?
So you can get if all you can afford is the $1.39 bread. There's still something for you,
exactly, and and
you can work your way up.
And that's what Walmart has been very successful at. They, and where people don't give Walmart credit, they have been so smart in doing business. They've figured out so many ways to eliminate costs that they can offer bread for $1.39 when other, if for a lot of other stores, when they offer a price that matches Walmart's price, that's a loss leader. They're just trying to put a number out there that will catch people's eyes.
Like the 99-cent bread at Price Chopper.
Exactly. That's just it. It's a loss leader. We're going to get a few sales. We'll get them in the door, and we'll make it up on our higher prices on everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Walmart doesn't need to do that. It's pretty crazy. But this idea that minimum wages are going to a higher minimum wage is going to provide that. The other thing, I find it very disingenuous when you have people like Walmart calling for that, because they are in that position that they can afford an $11 or $15 minimum wage when they've already internally increased their minimum wage to $11.
Yeah,
they're not going to have to worry about it.
If it does go up to 15, they can absorb the cost fairly easily. The prices of things will go up, and some people will get laid off, but they can do it.
Yeah,
their competitors, the little mom and pop stores in Central Square, and the little people who are running an eBay store out of their garage. Those are the people that are going to suffer from this.
Yeah. And here's a fun fact. Those little tiny small businesses, they employ more people than the Walmarts of the world. The bulk of employment is in the small businesses. We're going to go to the phones where we have Sarah. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yes, I just want to mention that, Albuquerque, we have a drag racing problem. And we have a...
Drag racing?
Yeah, because we have a... Well, drag racing, because we have a lot of open space. We have a lot, outside of the city, and the teenagers love to drag race.
Do they?
And yeah, they do. It's a culture here.
Sorry, I hate to break it to you, but kids have been racing cars. I remember
they've been doing that since there have been cars.
Yeah, I was going to say, who was this guy I heard about? Oh, James Dean. What year did James Dean die drag racing?
Oh, yeah.
1950 something.
Yes.
This is not breaking news, Sarah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, we have a very simple technology. It's called a mobile speeding unit. It's a speeding van. It takes a picture of your license plate.
Right.
And I know that it registers your speed.
Right.
And it doesn't have a...
I love those things.
Are these the ones that mail you a ticket?
Right. But they're mobile.
I don't like those. I like the ones that just show your speed, show you, warn you, because that is like the high score counter.
Yeah, those are the fun ones.
That's the game.
Your speed is X, whatever it is.
Right, and I always try to beat the last one I saw through there. If it showed like 70 on it, then I'm going for 75 or 80.
High score 98.
Exactly. Oh, that would be good. Actually, I've seen where people put like a little dry erase board beside it so they could record their high score. Thanks for your call,
but those things are...
Go ahead.
But those things are completely worthless, because, like you said, you want to speed up even higher so you could register even higher.
Right.
The drag racer.
You're under the assumption that drag racers care about getting a speeding ticket, and they're already breaking laws. Sarah, thank you for your call. The idea that you're going to be, a ticket is going to stop you when you're already driving recklessly.
Yeah, if you're doing 150 miles an hour on I-40, you're not too concerned about a speeding ticket.
No, and I'm more concerned. Well, parents have a lot of control in this, and there's a lot of technologies that are out there that can monitor your kid's vehicle, and It's sort of intrusive, but hey, that's part of the job of being a parent. You have to be the NSA of the house.
Yeah, they got these little things they just plug into the little port under your dashboard, and
you bet
they tell you everything.
They tell you where your kid's been going, tell them how fast they've been going, and
how
all
hard
that
they were
stuff.
braking, how hard they were accelerating. It's got everything.
Right, and that to me, if I were a parent with a kid after raising two boys, and knowing what I was like at 16, 17, 18, man, money well spent. $855, $450 free. This idea that you're going to guilt people or change people's behavior by the heavy hand of government coming down and issuing citations, I don't buy it, but maybe you do. I want to hear from you if you do. $855, $450 free. And tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why Sarah is right. That is a question we have been asking ourselves for years now. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale. Totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGDirect.com.
Do you have a family? Would you like to help make sure they'll be taken care of if anything were to happen to you? If you answered yes, you probably need life insurance. Now, do you think life insurance is expensive? If you answered yes to that too, you definitely need to give AIG Direct a call. We could find you a $250,000 policy for just $14 a month, which means you could save hundreds of dollars a year. Call us now for a free, no-obligation quote. 1-800-919-5435. Since 1995, we've helped millions of people find out if they could save up to 70% on their term life insurance. See how affordably we can help you protect your family. Call AIG Direct now for your free quote. 1-800-919-5435. You could save up to 70%. That's 1-800-919-5435. 1-800-919-5435.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-453, that's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. And I wanted to tell you about Cryptocurrency Wire. Are you trying to reach the crypto market? Or perhaps you want to spread mass awareness of your crypto technology. Either way, you need a communications company that specializes in the field, leveraging 35 different brands, part of the Investor Brand Network, and more than 5,000 downstream distribution partners. Cryptocurrency Wire combines the power of specialization with mass market reach. With their help, you can start connecting with crypto-friendly journalists and more than 1.6 million followers. Their commitment is to get you the most eyes on your big news while it's fresh. Domestic, international, they can reach 56 different countries and also provide translation services. Even if your company is an important and relevant newsmaker, you need someone that specializes in the field to get your message heard. CryptocurrencyWire.com. We've used it here on Free Talk Live. That's CryptocurrencyWire.com. And we've been talking wages. Hard to believe that we are debating what the correct minimum wage should be. Bernie Sanders has his idea. I think it's $15 an hour. Michael and I are on record for advocating a $150 per hour minimum wage.
It's our little modest proposal.
And it's not going to solve anything. That's the beauty of our...
It never did.
It never will. It will never make anyone's lives any better.
Because inflation...
Well, that's one thing, and it will eliminate lots of jobs. So you'll have massive unemployment. But here's what it will do. It will be very popular. I predict that.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely popular.
I know. And I'm trying to imagine when we roll out, on a big scale, the $150 an hour minimum wage, we'll probably get a few free drinks when we go out.
Oh, yeah.
Until those people's jobs are made illegal and they're fired.
Yeah.
And then they won't be able
replaced with robots, which there are robot bartenders now.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I as a former bartender, I can really appreciate some technologies. I think that's a very cool idea. And at this point, we're going to go back to the phones where we've got Tom calling in from New Hampshire, where this show is broadcast from. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
It's about D-Day. 75 years ago, the Allies, with some lucky breaks, of course, invaded Europe. They started the humongous invasion, and they got a few lucky breaks, and they managed to eventually defeat the enemy. And
I will say here that my Uncle Paul was lucky in that he was able to survive for 1 month. He invaded Normandy today, and he survived until July 5th. That's when he was killed.
Killed in action?
Killed in action. So our family has always had that Purple Heart to make us feel better. That doesn't do anything for any family that's lost family members. Go ahead.
Well, after the war, the United States emerged victorious because, the other allies were clobbered various ways. I mean, Britain got bombed by the Germans, and the United States hardly got a scratch. And
Pearl Harbor was a scratch, right?
Pearl Harbor was a significant blow.
Japan.
Yes.
That was from the other theater of war. And what I'm getting at here is that, I think too many people wound up living in the past. It's back to 1946, back when the United States is the king of the world. And that certainly went through the Korean War when Johnny signed up because America needed him and he was going to serve his country.
Right.
And Johnny came marching home again, and the men will cheer and the boys will shout and the ladies they'll all turn out. But then Vietnam came and went, and that was so much open corruption that still faded away. But there's still this thing in a lot of people's minds that America is number one, and China is getting bigger and richer and more powerful every day, while the United States is like sitting back saying, and just
are we though?
Enjoying it.
We're trying. We're just not doing anything intelligent. So we've been talking about minimum wages. Minimum wages, increasing a minimum wage will not make America great again. It will make a lot of jobs unavailable, illegal, literally illegal. They will disappear. So that's not making America great again. I don't look at World War II. You don't have a war and create something better out of it. This is a common misconception. Everybody's like, well, World War II, that's what really pulled us out of the recession. Well, if you look at the Consumer Price Index, if you look at GDP throughout World War II, there was no Make America Great Again. I don't want to be like that because that Great Depression lasted all the way through World War II.
Yeah, it's sad because I see a lot of, of course, parents figure, we'll just send our kids to school and won't push the school to, keep re-electing candidates who support public school when public school becomes more and more of an obvious failure. And you don't have the industrial base that, that would be there if it was a free country. You know what I'm saying? You got to have partnerships. You legalize these partnerships where, the day after high school, you go in there and you learn engineering and you work at engineering and you do that and you live there. This is a lot common in some countries. You pretty much live there and you're saving money and you can dedicate more time to studying and learning the higher mathematics and the science that you need in order to excel. And I see other countries beating the United States on a lot of levels, or they're catching up and surpassing the United States. And the United States isn't panicking. It should be in panic mode. Let's get with the program. And they're just relaxing and going out and having another beer and falling further behind.
And people need to realize that, raising the budget for the Department of Education is not how you get higher test scores. Tom, thank you for your call. The Department of Education doesn't really educate anyone.
No, they just distribute money.
Let me rephrase that. They absolutely don't educate anyone except those of us who pay attention to economics. We say that's the wrong way to do things. But they are simply a middleman. You send your tax dollars to Washington, and if you fill out all the proper forms, you will get a portion of what you sent to Washington back in the form of a block grant, and it's just a waste of time. I would much rather have that entire agency go away and have everything taken care of at the local level, because we know what the needs of our market is. We know what kind of workers this little corner of New Hampshire needs, and it's not the same as Detroit.
No, it's completely different.
And that's why cookie cutter programs to believe that the Department of Education can come up with a proper program that's going to fit every geographical place in the United States.
I got one
nuts.
for you. No bureaucrat left behind.
Oh, I like that. Can we somehow fit that into our $150 per hour minimum wage thing?
Well, we have to have some kind of agency to manage the $150 minimum.
Well, when people lose their jobs, they can then become bureaucrats.
Yes.
Yes, for $150 an hour.
Yes, it's a new jobs program.
Actually, we're just plotting the eventual demise of the whole system and doing everything we can to just nudge it along. That would certainly do it. And it's insane that people treat these things seriously. They talk about, we need to get the Department of Education more money. This thing has never improved test scores since its since its invention.
That line has been flat, where the line of education spending has been just shooting through the roof.
It does, and the amount of money that ended up going to teachers and teachers' unions, that went way, way up, and that was so Jimmy Carter could get that teachers' union vote. That was why the Department of Education was created in the first place, and I know people listen to that stuff and they go, you're making that up. I'm like, read your history, because that's exactly what it was. Didn't want those votes to go to the Republicans. God forbid. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. When we get back, I think we're going to talk about a little bit more about Walmart and some other stories.
Bernie Sanders, maybe?
Maybe a little more Bernie Sanders stuff. That's always good. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-301-5435. That's 800-301-5435. 800-301-5435.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,330, silver at $14.79, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,661. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, in a fast stride forward for the nationwide movement to legalize psilocybin, or magic mushrooms, the Oakland City Council has voted unanimously to decriminalize natural psychedelics, making the major California Bay Area city the second city in the United States to do so. The resolution orders law enforcement to immediately halt the investigation and prosecution of those who use the drugs, and applies to psychedelics that derive from plants and fungi. The law will not apply to synthetic drugs like LSD, ecstasy, or other man-made chemicals. The move comes 1 month after voters in Denver approved the decriminalization of psilocybin mushrooms, halting the use of city resources to pursue criminal penalties for people over 21 years old who use or possess magic mushrooms. Following the vote in Oakland, 100 supporters rose from their chairs, clapping and cheering for the move. That's according to the Mind Unleashed, citing the San Francisco Chronicle. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. The Australian Federal Police have conducted 2 raids on journalists and seized documents in purportedly unrelated incidents in the span of just 2 days. The Mind Unleashed reports that on Tuesday, the AFP raided the home of Australian journalist Annika Smethurst, seeking information related to her investigative report last year, which exposed the fact that the Australian government has been discussing the possibility of giving itself unprecedented powers to spy on its own citizens. On Wednesday, the AFP raided the Sydney headquarters of the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, seizing information related to a 2017 investigative report on possible war crimes committed by Australian forces in Afghanistan. In a third, also ostensibly unrelated incident, another Australian reporter disclosed this week that the Department of Home Affairs has initiated an investigation of his reporting on a story about asylum seeker boats, which could lead to an AFP criminal case, saying he's being pressured to disclose his source. The Trump administration has made clear their anger toward Venezuela's government also extends to Cuba. And that was shown again with the administration imposing new restrictions to prevent Americans ever setting foot on Cuban soil. The new restrictions that took place Wednesday target educational trips as well as cruise ships, forbidding all cruises from stopping in Cuba for recreational purposes. There was no grace period for ships already en route. Antiwar.com reported it created immediate chaos among cruise operators and a number of scheduled cruises that were to stop in Cuba as part of their voyages, having uncertain futures, with Carnival saying they won't be going to Cuba, but they will be going someplace in the future. Some reports claim the move was meant to punish Cuba for its ties to Venezuela, though others suggested the administration had an interest in punishing companies that had resumed operations and travel to Cuba during the Obama era, when legal restrictions were lifted. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Last month, the FDA approved Hallucex, a new class of weight loss drug that helps users avoid overeating by producing nightmarish hallucinations whenever food is around. Hallucex targets the brain's cerebral cortex, stimulating the centers responsible for fear and visual processing. Test subjects reported an unprecedented decrease in appetite and showed dramatic weight loss, with only 18% reporting night terrors or subsequent cardiac arrest.
It's designed to make fatty and sugary foods even scarier. An apple just looks like it has fangs, but a milkshake will threaten you and your family by name.
Earlier incarnations of the drug proved to be too powerful and produced mental states in which test subjects no longer believed that food had ever existed. An unshakable belief that the subject had to eat all of the food on the planet in order to prevent food from rising up and destroying the human race.
No, you don't understand. I have to do this.
Or the conviction that food could be negotiated with diplomatically. With the Lab Report, I'm Aisha Patel.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, hour number 2. The time flies when you're having fun. Here at 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. That's free as in freedom. 855-450-3733. You can also hit us up on Discord. You can find out more about that at discord.freetalklive.com. Discord's an app you're going to load on your phone. You're going to use your microphone, and you are going to use your high-speed internet connection, and you are going to sound like you are here in the studio with us. And the us in studio today is myself, Chris.
The nobody formerly known as Rich Paul.
And Michael.
And it's been an interesting night. Last hour we were discussing Bernie Sanders and the chairman of the CEO for Walmart calling for an increase in the current federal minimum wage. The current federal minimum wage is $7.25. CEO of Walmart says, you got to bump that up to something like what Walmart's doing, like, $11 an hour. That way we won't have to pay any more money than what we're paying already. And Bernie Sanders says, living wage is $15, which is not at all based on anything other than it's a number.
That number got pulled out of thin something.
Yeah, I mean, given the wide variation of costs of living in the United States, how could there be any number that meant anything nationally in terms of the basic standard of living? It costs a lot more to live in San Francisco than it costs to live in Appalachia.
Right.
And it makes a lot of sense for people living on a fixed income, therefore, to move to Appalachia.
Right. Here's all these numbers, and Rich, you're probably going to do some back-of-the-napkin math real quickly, and you're going to tell me the minimum wage should actually be $17.18.
Zero.
I agree with you, by the way.
Zero.
But the problem with...
I'm wearing my Union of Unemployed People hat now, and I say zero.
Zero is the correct answer for workers and for employers and for the market as in general. But the reason Fight for 15 is popular is because that's a catchy slogan. If there were something that rhymed with 20, they would have used 20. It doesn't matter what number. Now, Rich,
I'll tell Walmart what. If they'll set a minimum price for themselves on products, I'll accept them having a minimum wage. If they will agree not to sell anything with a sticker price less than $100, they have to raise their prices on every single item to $100 and more. And if they're willing to do that because I think it's a good idea, then I'm willing to say, sure. But the thing is, they're not willing to do that because they know that that would be suicidally stupid. And for the unemployed people in America to increase the minimum wage would be suicidally stupid.
So you want to make them increase their prices to where it would basically price them out of the market. I'm going to go the other way. I want to ask Walmart to agree not to sell anything for more than $1. Now, if products are less than $1 today, I'm willing to let them charge $1. Like if they got a piece of candy that normally sells for 50 cents, you are now allowed to charge a whole $1 for that piece of candy. But if I buy four tires, I will pay $1 for each one of those. Fair enough?
Okay, that sounds interesting. I mean,
why not?
Why not? Anything that we tried to do to Walmart to randomly make outside adjustment to their prices would be completely wrong, including a minimum wage.
Now, here's something insane that I heard the other day. You've heard of the Dollar Tree, the dollar store where you go in there, everything is $1 in the Dollar Tree. So apparently, because of the minimum wage, they're having to raise their prices over $1.
So now are they the $1.29
something like that
tree store? What you're going to see is stores like that do have this sort of culture, and they do their buying based on that philosophy. That's fine. They do their hiring. You're never gonna be the wealthiest guy on the block because you work at Dollar Tree.
No.
But a lot of people are provided with jobs that they can't otherwise find, and that's a service that they provide. Nobody is ever nobody's pointing at a gun at you telling you have to work at Dollar Tree.
No, and people can go in there and get inexpensive stuff like plates, and there's all kinds of stuff they have at Dollar Tree.
Anytime we come across the need for something like Tupperware, you know what I mean, like a tote, that's the place we immediately think of because you can get that stuff cheap, and that's great. Yeah. And even if it's a loss leader, I don't care. It's a good deal, and like I said, In small towns, and they are big in small towns, they are oftentimes the biggest employer in a really small town.
Yeah, and people tend to become snobs when it comes to things like dollar stores. That if you want to bring out the snob and some lefties, talk to them about dollar stores. But
talk to them about Walmart, then they'll go, "Oh, I do all my shopping at Target." Target
costs more.
It does.
It does cost more. And if you can afford it, maybe that's a nice luxury. But the thing is, there are people out there who have significantly better standards of living because they were able to buy a bunch of cheap plastic stuff at Walmart and had more money to spend on other things.
There you go.
And bravo to those people.
Good
and
for
bravo to Walmart for letting them do that. Boo to Walmart for asking that their competitors be hobbled in terms of prices they can pay for labor, though.
So Michael and I were talking about that last hour. How much of this do you think is just Walmart trying to put a final nail into what little competition they have in small businesses? If they can get small businesses to have to increase their costs.
You see, Walmart suffers from uniquely bad PR. Walmart is considered basically the devil by a lot of people, and they've conceded in a lot of cases by paying higher wages than the market strictly demands, in order to improve their image. And of course, the leftists have given them nothing for that because they're still Walmart and they're still rich. Until they're poor, they're not good. From the leftist point of view. So I think that Walmart just wants, since it's not getting any credit for paying higher wages than everybody else, which it does, then maybe they figure, well, maybe we at least wouldn't lose as much by our bad PR if everybody was forced to play on the same crippled playing field that we are by public relations. And I really think that's how their corporate thinking is going, which is not a condemnation of them, because businesses exist for one purpose and one purpose only, which is to make money by providing products to buyers.
Yeah, what annoys the heck out of me is when you have a system, and we do not live in a capitalist economy. Those of you who may be bringing up that C word again.
Not quite.
We don't. We live in what's basically an oligarchy, and you've got a very large, no, that's not right. You have a very small group of very powerful people at the top who can manipulate politicians as easily as they can manipulate their own prices. That's the problem.
Right.
To me.
And the whole problem with that is political power is based on appearances and popularity and all the things that but not so much money. Money is purer to me than how political decisions are made by popularity contests. Because I'll tell you what, I saw popularity contests when I was in high school. Never saw one deliver the best people.
No, but what you
the
will
most popular people are never the best people.
Right, and money won't do that either. Please, Michael. Oh, I thought you had something for us. That's okay. Just this idea that's the problem is, to me, that when you have a system that runs based on grift, then those are the results you're going to be. And it's basically, who can I buy in Washington that will further my agenda or do things that are beneficial for my business?
And right now it looks like Bernie Sanders is on sale.
There you go.
Oh, wow. I'm going to have to get the fill in on that.
We'll talk about that in just a moment. 855-450 free. We're talking about Walmart. We're talking about Bernie Sanders. We're talking about increasing the minimum wage as if that's a good thing. We are suspending our own belief systems for a moment. 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com. Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehash stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. We've been talking Bernie Sanders. We've been talking Walmart. These are things that we were talking about last hour. But, some topics, they just got legs. Yeah. You just want to keep going with them. And which brings up another story we thought we might talk about, but I brought it up during the break, and everybody's like, "Oh, we got to do that."
Yeah, we got to talk about this.
Yeah, this is a headline from Fox News. Bernie Sanders Soviet Union, Venezuela don't count as examples of failed socialism.
They were successful socialism.
Well, yeah, there you go.
When criticizing socialism, don't bring up the Soviet Union or Venezuela to Bernie Sanders. Sanders, an independent from Vermont, dismissed the connection between the failed socialist states and his own vision for America during an interview on Comedy Central's The Daily Show on Tuesday. Quote, obviously, Soviet Union was an authoritarian society with no democratic rights, and I think if you know history, you know that democratic socialists fought and stood up against that, unquote.
Really?
The 2020 Democratic hopeful said. See, now
what history is he reading?
I'm just referring to the history of Bernie Sanders coming back from the Soviet Union, and you can go out on YouTube and you can see these videos where he was talking about how wonderful it was over there.
Oh yeah, he supported that, and Ford Fisher actually called him out on that. Do you know Ford Fisher?
Ford Fisher is a libertarian-leaning independent journalist, correct?
Yeah, well, he went to a Bernie Sanders rally and called him out for his support of the USSR. It's a great piece. Check it out.
And to tie everything back, Ford Fisher is one of the people that had their YouTube video demonetized this week.
Oh, wow.
We had a caller who wanted to talk about Steven Crowder and the tiff he is in with YouTube over, I guess, the Carlos Meza stuff, and they threatened to demonetize him unless he starts pulling his homophobic ads for
apparently
homophobic T-shirts or something like that.
Wow.
So yeah, you've kind of got that going on.
YouTube has become just another company that has to go.
They're wholly owned by Google.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. I guess they're just part of the one of the other companies that already needed to go.
That is not Google. Everybody mistakenly refers to Google as Google. It is Alphabet.
Well, yeah. Now they have a holding company called Alphabet that owns everything.
Literally an alphabet soup of different companies, all owned by the company formerly known as Google. But again, to get back to Bernie Sanders, obviously the Soviet Union.
That would be really interesting, though, because there are a lot of people who believe that Google was actually a government front.
And now
a CIA front. The funny thing being, that would mean that it was run by the alphabet agencies. That's what we all call the three-letter federal agencies.
YouTube was a separate company until Google bought it about 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. I'm talking Google. A lot of people think Google is a front for the intelligence.
Believe
gathering.
me, Rich, the irony was not lost on me when I heard that they were changing their name from Google to Alphabet. So,
okay. It was lost on me at first, and then it was like, ha ha.
Oh, you've got to be kidding. This story continues. The Daily Show's Jacoby Young White agreed with Sanders' assessment, saying, quote, the examples of failed socialism that critics use are not socialist democracies, but authoritarian states led by corrupt, ruthless, and paranoid dictators, unquote. Well, I hate to tell you, Jacoby Young White, but socialism leads
Did
to
he just
corrupt,
assume my race?
Ruthless, and paranoid dictators. That's what socialism creates.
That's how it works.
That is, It's not a bug, it's a feature of socialism.
Man, that's what, and Bernie Sanders was all for it in the 70s.
Yeah. And later than that, into the 80s.
Yeah.
Like I said, the YouTube video I encourage everyone to dig up is Bernie Sanders after just returning from the Soviet Union, I think in somewhere like 1985 to 1988.
It was
from his honeymoon.
I could be wrong.
It was right before the collapse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it was, him just, glowing about all the things that the workers have been able to do in the Soviet Union. They have laid out, the path to a strong future for their people. And like I said, 3 years later, the thing's gone.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Sanders, who owns 3 houses and also earned more than $1 million annually in recent years.
How much of that is he giving away?
It's I have seen a statistic on that, and it's not a high amount.
Okay.
It's not a lot to charity. Sanders, who owns 3 houses and has also earned more than $1 million annually in recent years, went on to defend someone being a millionaire in his vision of socialist society. Quote, if what you say is life is, quote, all I want to do is have as much money as I possibly can and screw everything else and I don't give a damn, unquote, then no, I don't think democratic socialism is your cup of tea, unquote, he said. You can't have it both ways. People should be free to pursue success. That's what we're all about. And socialist countries are all about you can be as successful as you like, but when you are successful, we want those fruits of your labor so we can distribute
the
that.
state will take it away from you.
Yes, and we will distribute it as we see best. And that's what Bernie is advocating.
Which also means that brilliant ideas don't thrive, because if you tax them in their infancy, then they will not grow enough to become the next, Facebook or Walmart or whatever company.
I'll tell you, I really enjoyed Chernobyl, the HBO docuseries. I don't know if anybody
I've heard of it,
saw
have not
any
read
of that.
it.
I have not seen it. I've been hearing about it though.
It was good. I think they did an okay job. There was a lot of bad science in it, and there's a lot of things that I don't think.
Well, there was a lot of bad science in the real Chernobyl too. Are they quoting people correctly?
No.
Okay.
They're taking some artistic liberties with some of the science, but it does paint a picture of a bureaucracy run amok, and that was, I think, if there is a villain behind Chernobyl, it is the Soviet state. It is this idea that we can centrally plan everything, and we can take away people's reasons to go to work and reasons to be successful. That's all the state. Bernie continues here, quote, but if you have a decent heart and say, look, I'm doing really well, but I also want to be a contributor to the well-being of society, so I'm going to pay my fair share of taxes, unquote. So there you go.
So we're allowed to exist provided we pay him off for that, right? Like the mafia.
Yeah.
He's benevolent like the mafia toward us.
There
That's
you
nice.
Go. Nice of you, Bernie. We can be okay. We can be successful as long as we pay it all back in taxes. 855-453. What do you think? Is Bernie right? Did the Soviet Union and Venezuela just not do socialism right, or are they just not examples we should even talk about? They were authoritarian. 855-453. This is Free Talk Live.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
When commercials come on, don't push the button. Instead, listen. Even if you don't sell things for a living, you're still selling in the various conversations and transactions that make up your busy day. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. So take a lesson from Madison Avenue. Often the fewer words, the more effective the message. Like Jiffy Lube, where you never need an appointment, or the Office Max ad that says, you supply the ambition, we supply everything else. How about online ticket broker StubHub.com, the way in when it's sold out, or CyberCupid Match.com's seductive, go ahead, it's okay to look. How cleverly and succinctly can you distill your message? For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live.
The people that fought the Korean War and, frankly, the Afghan War won because those people are the military-industrial complex. And what they wanted is they want things that go boom to go boom so that they can build more things that go boom. That the purpose of the war isn't freedom, it's not justice, it's not any of these higher concepts that, in fact, that the lives, minds, and bodies of the people that are going out there and fighting for these wars, that they are inconsequential to the politicians and the people for whom they work.
So you're saying the state won these wars, Vietnam and Afghanistan. The state won, but the individuals who fought the war, they're the ones that took the brunt of it. They're the ones that lost.
That's right.
And I totally agree. They do enough to make it seem like they're doing something and to keep us happy enough just to control it.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's free as in freedom. 855-450-3733. That's our toll-free number. And if you'd like to let us know what you think, give us a call. This is a truly open phones radio show, which means you can call up about any topic, anything we're talking about, throw that out the window. You can bring up anything you like, and we will discuss it. If you do call in, remember, we are on over 200 AM/FM affiliates coast to coast, so you got to get your point across without using George Carlin's famous 7 words you can't say on television,
and a few others largely random but widely known.
Yes.
But yeah, we don't have a topic. If you want to change the subject, you don't like what we're talking about, if you got a different subject, bring it up.
We like to talk about everything. But right now, I want to talk about My Magic Mud. Have you tried this stuff, Michael?
Yes, I have.
You have, Rich? Have you tried Magic Mud yet?
I have not tried the Magic Mud yet.
All right. Well, Magic Mud is a very cool product. It's like a black tooth powder. It's made from charcoalized coconut shells and bentonite clays. It is clinically proven to whiten your teeth. It's available in most health food stores like Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, Walmart. Oftentimes in the natural beauty aisle. You can get a discount on My Magic Mud by using this 20% off coupon, FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. This stuff is really crazy, and my son and I both bought it a few years ago. We were at Pork Fest, which is a annual libertarian camping trip, basically, here in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Had a lot of fun, and I was talking to the folks there, and it is the craziest product to use because it is black. They're not exaggerating when they say it's black, and your teeth will be black. But if you follow the directions on the box, it will scrub the stains right off of them, and you will have an amazing smile in just a few uses. It's pretty neat. Again, you can go to mymagicmud.com and enter the code FTL20 for 20% off your orders. So we've been talking Bernie Sanders because, if you want to make the point that socialism doesn't work, Bernie is a living, breathing example of that. Every policy that he has ever advocated fails. That was not a fair statement for me to say, because Bernie Sanders does have the correct position on a number of things. He has been consistently against U.S. intervention in other people's businesses, other countries' businesses. Mm-hmm. He's been anti-interventionalist, which I appreciate.
Have to give him credit for that.
You can. It is sort of a compliment, but you can say the guy's consistent. He's been consistently socialist for as long as he's been in politics.
Yeah, that's consistency.
He's consistently advocated horrible ideas.
If socialism doesn't work, how did Bernie Sanders become a millionaire doing it?
Exactly. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. That's the capitalist aspect of that. And I brought up this video that anybody can find, but it's Bernie Sanders shortly before the fall of the wall and the fall of the Soviet Union.
Can we play the quote on the air?
If I can find it. Okay. We're not ready to do that tonight, but I'll definitely pull that up. But if you Google Bernie Sanders Soviet Union, you'll likely come across it. And it's him raving
I don't know, because Google is kind of commie. They may have hidden it by now.
Oh, my God. But Bernie has nothing but great things to say about the Soviet Union and about how well the people are treated and how successful those people are. And literally within a couple years, that's what happens. The Daily Show's Jabuki White, Young White, agreed with Sanders' assessment, saying that the examples of failed socialism that critics use are not socialist democracies, but authoritarian states led by corrupt, ruthless, and paranoid dictators.
The thing is, that's what socialism gets you.
Exactly.
And if you want to understand why, a great source is Hayek's The Road to Serfdom.
Yes.
And he explains that because, there are a lot of arbitrary decisions that have to be made by these socialist commissars. In order to do central planning, you decide who works and who starves. So basically, the people who are kind-hearted aren't going to last long in that job.
Yeah, that was such a powerful book. Again, that's Friedrich Hayek's The Road to Serfdom. It was written just
much
prior,
better than I explained it was written.
No, just prior to and during World War II. That's when Hayek wrote this, and he wrote it to the people of Great Britain because he saw all these socialist moves that Great Britain was starting to implement, and he could see the direction it was going, and he wrote it as a cautionary tale that if you continue down this path, this is what you're going to get.
And he based that on watching the Nazi regime go socialist.
Very much
before that, he was in Austria, and he fled Austria to go to the Soviet Union to go to Great Britain. Because he could see the handwriting on the wall, and he was a Jew and a capitalist and a lot of other things the Nazis didn't like.
Absolutely. This story continues. The, quote, OG of socialism, unquote, in America, as he was described during the interview, also outlined why he, and this is Bernie Sanders, believes younger generations are attracted to the system, quote,
because they've been propagandized for 12 years at your expense in the public schools, which also failed to teach them to read.
Exactly. Quote, the younger generation will in all likelihood have a lower standard of living than their parents. Yes, Bernie, if your programs go through, they will have a much lower standard of living.
And to the extent, I have a lower standard of living than my parents. Most of my friends have a lower standard of living than their parents. And the reason for that is because their parents implemented disastrous policies that screwed us.
Absolutely. His quote here continues. He said before, also claiming student loan debts and a lack of high-paying jobs and affordable housing make the idea of, quote, society with more egalitarianism, unquote, appealing. Sanders has promised to transform America with a left-wing version of economic and environmental justice if he wins the White House. But the self-described democratic socialists high income, multiple houses, and fondness for air travel have already opened him up to criticism that his lifestyle doesn't always match his rhetoric.
Now, what I have to wonder here is, the necessary and sufficient condition for American students to think a socialist future looks good is to make their future look very bleak indeed. And that is the insidious notion of socialism, is people say, well, why can't we just have a little bit of socialism? Why can't we just have a minimum wage?
Yeah.
Why can't we just have socialized medicine? And the reason is because every single time one of these programs gets implemented, it makes everybody poorer. And when you make people poorer, then you make them feel like failures, and you make them feel like the government could make better decisions for them than they make for themselves.
Oh, Rich, now come on. What if we only did these programs for a little while?
Then things would get worse for a little while. And at the end of that little while, things would be worse, and people would say, oh, God, we're starving. We need more socialism.
Wait, when did you ever know the government to stop a government program?
Thank you, Michael. I was going to point to that temporary program called Social Security, which had an expiration date.
The closest thing
How's that working for you?
The closest thing in nature to immortality is a temporary government program, Ronald Reagan said.
And he was correct. 855-450 free. What do you think? Are we just picking on Bernie because he's got funny hair? Or do we actually have legitimate gripes with his economic programs and his vision for America? Maybe you're a socialist. If you are, we want to hear from you. 855-450 free. In the meantime, he still owns 3 houses. This is Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. Freedom freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. And maybe you got some time around maybe June 13th to June 18th.
Coming up in just a week.
Just a week. Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians this summer from June 13th to June 18th for Forkfest 2019 at Rogers Campgrounds in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Forkfest happens right before the Porcupine Freedom Festival, also known as Porkfest. And Forkfest happens to be decentralized, which means there is no charge, no ticket cost. Just reserve your camping or RV site or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 13th to the 18th. You can simply relax and go camping with other Liberty lovers, or you can create whatever experience or event you'd like others to have. If you're planning an event for Forkfest, be sure to let others know in advance. You can connect with other Forkfesters via the unofficial Telegram chat or the Forkfest forums. Links to those are on the unofficial Forkfest website, forkfest.party. That's forkfest.party. Michael, you're going up, right?
I am not going.
What?
Not this year.
Okay.
I'm going up.
Rich Paul will be there.
Oh,
or the artist formerly known as Rich Paul, now known as Nobody.
And I should give a little update on that because I promised an update as soon as I had my court date to change my name.
How did that court date go, Rich?
A funny thing happened to me on the way to the name change.
Oh, God.
I'm walking through security. I'm minding my own business. And a voice says to me, "Can I see your ID?" Which isn't normal when you're entering a courtroom. And I kind of knew what was coming because I'd heard rumors of armed men seeking me by name in Manchester. And I thought they might come so far afield as Keene when they had a way to track me down. And indeed, apparently they did not come, but they set a trap for me with the local constables. And the local constables arrested me.
Oh, jeez.
I was immediately arrested, handcuffed, and I said, "Odie, I don't think I can pick up the garbage with these handcuffs on." Oh, wait, no, that was a completely different story of a different massacre.
Yes.
But
Alice's Restaurant. Thank you, Rich Paul. I always appreciate any reference to Alice's Restaurant.
Gotta make an Alice's Restaurant.
Right.
But I was indeed immediately arrested upon entering the courthouse and shipped back to Manchester to face the second incarnation of a slightly hilarious charge brought to you by the morons at the Bedford Police Department. I hope you're listening in Bedford tonight, morons. And the what they did one time is they pulled me over for driving on a suspended license, although my license was not at that time suspended, and a suspended registration, although my license had not yet been although my registration also had not yet been suspended. They impounded my car for these two premature violations, and they then searched the trunk, found a machete, and charged me with being a felon in possession of a weapon.
So a machete is considered a weapon?
Well, not under New Hampshire law unless you have intent. Under New Hampshire law, it has to be able to. One of a list of 13 items, which are very specific, include things like dirk, dagger, and billy, but do not include machete.
Right.
Do not include steak knife. Was this in your trunk, you say? Yeah, it was in my trunk.
Okay.
But any other item becomes a weapon if it could deliver a deadly blow in the way in which you intend to use, or threaten to use it. So
if you plan on clearing some brush with your machete, that certainly is not an example of using it in a way to injure someone.
Yes, and there have been, I read up when I was in jail because I knew I was going to be a felon, I wouldn't be able to carry guns. I read up on the New Hampshire law, and I read up on the New Hampshire case law, and the fact that, for example, a man shooting at rabbit, or at porcupines, on his property in New Hampshire, who was a felon, was found to be legally in possession of his bow and arrow because he did not use it, intend to use it, or threaten to use it in a way that would be fatal to a man, as opposed to a porcupine.
Yes.
So this is a very important piece of law. So could I have killed something with my machete? Well, yes, I have killed something with a machete. It was a bush, but I killed it dead. They say it didn't come back to next year. I chopped it down and it died. And I did it at the behest of a New Hampshire state legislator who I'm sure will be testifying on my behalf at my infamous weapons trial.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. But Bedford PD has no idea what they bit off. And this idiot who brought the charges, I will be bringing a complaint to the Bar Association because it is very clear that this person is acting in bad faith. This person had to lie to get this past the grand jury.
And I gotta say, police, if you're gonna do something silly, you want to pull somebody over on some trumped up charges, or you just want to bring charges that are absurd, ridiculous, and easily disproven, do not do that in New Hampshire, because we've got a lot of activists here that don't like the police oppressing your rights. And we will be there in the courtroom filming you. You can like that. You can not like that. You can say that that's a good thing. It's a bad thing. But your actions will be on full display for everyone to see.
But what these idiots can do to you is put a financial hurt in your world, because they can make it very expensive to stand up to them. And I'll tell you what, I never pitched the tips page, but there is a page at tips.lrn.fm or tips.freetalklive.com or both, where you can come and tip somebody. And I'll tell you what, they took 2 useful days away from me by throwing me in jail to face this spurious charge again, because what it all comes down to is the car that I was driving was a police cruiser with smiley faces and anarchy signs painted on it, and they didn't like my car. And why this is all happening. So help me out. Help me get through this so I can give them a beating.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and of course, we'll do what we can to do everything we can to see you get through this.
I appreciate it.
It's insanity, It's as if they're and in the meantime, however many police are involved in this, I will wager there are more unsolved crimes that could use some investigation. I will wager that there are probably more people suffering break-ins and thefts and larcenies and, God forbid, rapes and things like that occur while police are investigating nonsense. This is you're a New Hampshire cop. You should know what New Hampshire law is before you try to hit somebody with.
You really should, and especially
charges.
the prosecutor. The prosecutor is unfamiliar, unforgivable. How can he not know the law? How many innocents have pled out because he didn't know the law and they had to plead to a felony because without ever breaking a law? This should not ever happen to another person.
It happens all the time, and not just in New Hampshire. It happens all over the U.S.
97% of cases are solved by plea bargain.
Yeah, and it's no bargain, folks. What it means is the more that this system continues the way it is, the more of your rights you're going to lose, and more of your friends are going to be incarcerated for I can't even call them crimes because a crime requires a victim, and too often it's just something where the state says you hurt our feelings, so we're going to throw you in jail, and that's absurd and ridiculous.
Well, that's why I'm an hour late tonight, is I just got out of jail 3 hours ago, and I was like, oh no, I'm missing Free Talk Live, but I got a ride here. Angie's husband was kind enough to drive me back, and so thanks, dude.
And it's always good to see him. If you're watching on DLive or you're watching on Twitch, you may wonder who's been sitting in the other seat. That has been Mike. He just wanted to see how the show gets made. But
you got to get him on sometime.
Yeah, we're working on him, and he was ready to step in if you couldn't make it. So,
well, you guys missed something. Next time,
absolutely. 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,335, silver at $14.88, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,725. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, free speech advocates who warned of the predictable consequences of allowing powerful tech companies to police online discourse seized on YouTube's attempt Wednesday to purge hate speech from their video platform after creators performing public service journalism and education were swept up in the effort. Wednesday's purge came after days of sustained criticism over YouTube's handling of bigoted content produced by fringe alt-right commentator Steven Crowder that targeted Vox Media personality Carlos Maza. After nearly a week of online outrage, YouTube demonetized Crowder's channel and then launched a site-wide cleanup of what the company defined as hate speech and targeted harassment. But the purge also caught journalists and historians up in its wake, as the tech giant's heavy-handed response to Crowder's harassment did not allow for context in most of the content. The most prominent of those voices swept up in the purge is Ford Fisher, a video journalist who reports on extremism in U.S. politics on his YouTube page, News to Share. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. With the trade war between the U.S. and China seemingly escalating every single day, the U.S. has decided to provoke the not-so-sleeping dragon, and, according to Reuters, is pursuing the sale of more than $2 billion worth of tanks and weapons to Taiwan, in a move sure to infuriate China further. Activist Post reports that while an official statement has not been made, an informal notification of the proposed sale has been sent to the U.S. Congress. The proposed sale includes 108 General Dynamics Corps M1A2 Abrams tanks worth $2 billion, as well as anti-tank and anti-aircraft munitions, as Taiwan has been interested in refreshing its existing U.S.-made battle tank inventory, which includes M60 Patton tanks. The congressional notifications also included a variety of anti-tank munitions, worth as much as $129 million. In addition, the notifications included 1,240 TOW anti-tank missiles, worth as much as $299 million, and 250 Stinger missiles, worth as much as $223 million. Saudi Arabia has significantly expanded its ballistic missile program through recent purchases from China. The anti-media, citing CNN, reports the purchases expanded both its missile infrastructure and technology. Key congressional Democrats discovered the weapons expansion program outside of regular U.S. government channels. The legislators told CNN they concluded the Trump administration had knowledge of the weapons deal and deliberately left Congress out of a series of meetings where they would have been briefed on the purchases. While Saudi Arabia is the U.S.'s top arms buyer, it's barred from purchasing ballistic missiles from Washington under a 1987 regulation that prevents the sale of rockets capable of carrying weapons of mass destruction. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Shortly after accidentally clicking like on nearly 400 of his ex-girlfriend's Facebook photos earlier today, panicked area man Adam Nuisance spoke to Onion reporters about his mistake.
Damn it, I was just looking at one of Rebecca's Instagram photos that showed up on my news feed, and the next thing I know, I just liked every single photo that she posted over the last 4 years. I didn't mean to, but it just kind of happened.
The 28-year-old told reporters that he had browsed through 14 of his ex-girlfriend's photo albums while inadvertently clicking like on each and every picture, including dozens from her office picnic last fall, her trip to New York in 2010, and a photo of her and her first boyfriend from 2006.
I thought if I went back and clicked unlike on all those pictures that maybe she wouldn't get any notifications. But then I saw some other albums and I ended up liking 80 more photos and shared them on my wall. Shit.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, hour number 3. We do 3 hours every night, every day of the year, because we like it. 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. But first, I want to tell you about Edge Wallet. Edge Wallet is one of the best crypto wallets out there that you can load on your Android or iOS device. It is user-controlled. That means you control access to your money and you can protect your money. It supports BTC or Bitcoin. It supports Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and many more. It's built by a veteran team. It's been building stuff for crypto since 2014. Their goal is to secure your freedom. Find out more. You can go to edge.app. That's edge.app. And I actually had a class. One of my many hobbies, jobs. I don't even know what you call it.
You run the Bitcoin Embassy here in Keene, New Hampshire.
Right, Bitcoin Embassy, New Hampshire, and I had 2 folks in. I'm not going to say the name of the company, but let's say they are professional stock traders, and they wanted to learn about crypto and how this stuff works, because according to them, next year we're going to be selling it too.
Wow!
So yeah, it's kind of interesting to see. That's sort of the quote, institutional money making its way into the crypto world. So we'll find out more. I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about that over the next year or so, and I may be doing a class for their whole office. We'll find out where that goes. But we want to stay with the phones because we're getting a little bit backlogged here. And we want to go to Jonathan. He's calling in from Michigan. He wants to talk about Bernie Sanders. Jonathan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So my question was, if Bernie Sanders were to run for the election, what do you think his chances are of actually being elected?
So to me, we'll get everybody's opinion on this. A couple schools of thought. A couple schools of thought is anybody could run against Donald Trump and probably do pretty well. Bernie Sanders did really well in the last primaries against Hillary. There were a lot of allegations of basically that whole thing being stolen from Bernie Sanders. So it can go either way. Rich, what do you think? Bernie's odds.
Bernie's odds? I think Bernie is a sacrificial lamb again. I don't think he's been anointed. The next president's already been selected. I don't think it's him. I think they'll probably. I don't know which way it's going to go.
We're all just speculating.
My best prediction is that Trump is going to be the next president.
Okay, Michael.
My speculation on that is it's going to be creepy Joe Biden running against Trump.
See, I think creepy Joe Biden has to be a sacrificial lamb because his creepy is so well known.
Who else have the Democrats got? Bernie can't win against Trump.
Oh my God, have you seen those videos? They're so horrible. With oh my God.
What are you talking about,
I'm talking about
Biden?
the creepy Joe Biden. It looks like those children are being offered as sacrifices. It really does. Watch them. Have you seen the parents' reaction?
I don't know if you're talking about last week's video or this week's video.
There's a whole.
I'm talking about the last decade's video that nobody's been willing to talk about, and now suddenly we can.
JoeBiden.info, and you can watch all of these videos.
Oh,
good.
there's a whole site of it.
Yeah, JoeBiden.info.
Oh my God!
Go ahead, Jonathan.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. We just talked all over you.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, it's all good. Like, fuck you guys for doing that.
Oh, and there we go. There are certain words.
I knew we had a good reason for talking over him.
Certain things you just can't say on the air, but hey, you'll have that from time to time. 855-450 free. He at least let us go for a little bit before he got dumped. We're going to stay on the phones. Well, actually, I got to wait for this to reset here. So,
are you still talking to nothing?
Well, right now I think I am talking to nothing, but we're going to see.
The dump box has to recharge after you hit the button.
So, before you take another caller.
Yes,
right.
yes,
okay.
yes.
So we just have to behave ourselves for the next few minutes. I think we can do that. We're
Well,
professional.
And then we have to continue to behave ourselves. So we're going to see how this goes. Go ahead.
When that bar is full, you're good.
Yeah, and it's slowly building up. But I don't know.
It's not really behaving myself, though, because if I was behaving like myself, the FCC would have us off the air. It's refraining from entirely behaving by myself.
Yeah, we all have to watch our language when we do this show. So
absolutely. But back to the idea of Bernie running. Do we know if Hillary's jumping in again?
Last I heard is Hillary's not running.
Okay. So if that were it, then it seems to me that it would come down to Biden and it would come down to Bernie.
Yeah, and the other thing is that I saw a poll on Twitter a few days ago showing Trump being compared with all the Democratic candidates, and it showed Trump ahead by several points for all of them except Joe Biden.
Wow.
Where Joe Biden was like 1 point ahead of him.
Yeah, I got to think that Creepy Joe's going to drop. He has no... I don't want to say staying power because people are going to take that the wrong way, but
oh God,
it just seems to be more of a story. And Joe Biden, for all the Democrats talk about, we've got to get these, rich white guys out of office, and we've got to mix it up. And so you've got
you've got a rich.
Well, I'll
white
tell
guys.
you what. I will be the first guy if he's running for president who's out there organizing sexual abuse victims with Me Too signs to go to his rallies.
Right. I don't know. I just can't see him. Like you said, the anointed. There is always a choice that the oligarchy is going to choose. And that person is going to be president. I think Trump probably wasn't that. I think that was an anomaly. I don't think that was what they planned. But, I think they forgot. They weren't paying attention to how disappointed people were with this system. And I think that's what got Trump elected. Now we're going to try going back to the phones where we've got David calling in from San Francisco. David, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Oh, not too bad. We got a nice windy day out here. Hey, by the way, did I hear you had some issue with the dump button?
We did. I think we allowed it to build back up, and I think we're good.
Oh, okay.
If you were listening on these lines, you may have heard our previous caller get unceremoniously dumped.
Yeah, well, I was wondering about that because, if I were to actually say gosharoonie, what would happen?
Gosharoonie, I don't think meets the FCC's qualification for profanity.
Yeah, the only people that actually heard that are the...
Carlin's deadly words were beep, beep. Am I talking to nothing again?
There you go. So what's on your mind,
Right.
David?
Hey, well, I heard you. I didn't hear I tuned in late, so I didn't hear the actual incident that you were talking about, but I got the impression that you were talking about privatized justice, bad cops.
We were really talking just about bad cops bringing bad charges. I think that was the gist of what Rich Paul's dealing with.
Specifically against your humble narrator.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, the reason I raised it, or it sparked my attention was I'm old enough. I'm like late baby boom, and I was around when Richard Nixon created the drug war. When everybody knew that William Randolph Hearst created, the war against marijuana in 1927. That was totally phony. That William Randolph Hearst had intentionally created World War I, the Spanish-American War, And as a prize for the Spanish-American War, he was given huge forests all over the Philippines and Mexico and Cuba and whatnot. And he didn't know what to do with those forests, so he figured out that if he could outlaw hemp, he could then be able to capture the paper market.
Not a bad idea, David. We're going to hold you over here, and we'll discuss that. Was World War I a big conspiracy just about paper? 855-450 free.
Everything
this
the
is
government
Free Talk Live.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. I believe the crypto winter is over. That, if true, means that crypto prices may be on the rise and more news will be on the horizon. Get the latest and freshest crypto news at news.bitcoin.com. They have a real staff that does real reporting, not the rehashed stuff you're getting from most crypto news outlets. I am proud and happy to say that news.bitcoin.com is my first stop for all news crypto related. News.bitcoin.com. Don't forget that you can get a free Bitcoin Cash wallet and free Bitcoin Cash at free.bitcoin.com. Free crypto at free.bitcoin.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's our toll-free number, 855-450-3733. And we've been talking Bernie Sanders. Seems like it's been kind of a Bernie night. It's kind of weird.
I'm feeling the burn.
Are you feeling the burn?
I got kind of a burning sensation, too. I hope I didn't pick something up in jail.
I'm going to have to stop by CVS on the way home.
Let's hope not. But, in addition to listening to the show, you can also watch the show. A lot of people are kind of into that, too. We broadcast over the Twitch network. You can find that at twitch.lrn.fm. And you can also watch us on DLive. DLive's another platform out there for video distribution. You can find out more about that at dlive.freetalklive.com. But it's sort of interesting in that they're sort of using a cryptocurrency to help provide funding to people who create content. So the biggest guy that was ever on YouTube, a guy named PewDiePie, he's moved over to the DLive, the DLive network, and that's been kind of a big thing. Yeah. So he's prolific, and we're just riding on his coattails.
Yeah. Anytime I see somebody leaving YouTube or leaving Facebook or leaving Twitter, that is a wonderful thing. That those platforms are traps, and I think they were designed to corral speech. I think their predominance was designed that way, and I think it was artificially created.
I think their real goal was to make lots of money, and when you give something away for free, guess what? You are the product, because you get to see all their ads over and over and over, and you will buy a percentage, and they count on that stuff. I think as their cultural, corporate culture has changed, and they started to realize that, we're going to get shut down we're going to get more regulations. We're going to get all these things if we don't start cramping down. I don't really believe that stuff came up organically. I think they're feeling the pressure of our politicians, and that's what's going on.
Well, there's certainly a lot there, but the thing is, any company that gets big enough is going to bend over for the government, because that they've got billions of dollars on the line. So once you become big, it's almost inevitable that you will become evil. And that's why I think the next step of media is going to be decentralized media that cannot be shut down by any suable entity. Because the Bitcoin miners of the world are not a suable entity. The people keeping IPFS up are not a suable entity. There may be a company, but so long as their code is open source, you can sue the company out of existence, and the idea lives on.
Absolutely.
As long as people have the courage to keep joining the class of intrepid souls who are running outlawed software. Outlawed software cannot be, you can't outlaw software.
Yeah, it's not possible.
Yeah.
It's like outlawing a thought.
Right, and that has been the argument in numerous court cases, that software is free speech. Code is written. That is free speech, and it deserves all the protections. We've been talking to David, who wanted to talk about the war on drugs, and he wanted to talk about William Hearst, but I am having some issues with our dump button. That's that magic button that if somebody calls in and cusses, I can hit it and make sure that doesn't go out over the air, and it doesn't seem to be building up right now.
Yeah, that's not...
So
send the board
unfortunately,
up a message.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. But if you're still holding for us, we haven't forgotten about you.
That the reason for this is FCC regulation. Where is there an exception carved into the First Amendment for the FCC? I don't see it.
It's not there. That's
so
why you don't
who
see
are
it.
they to say only the licensed few can broadcast? Now, they said we're going to protect diversity of thought and diversity of opinion. What have we gotten? Every single major media, radio station, TV station is owned by an FCC licensees, and 96% of those are controlled by 6 corporations between them. So how is that protecting protecting diversity of opinion.
It used to be 3.
You can appear to be broadcasting diverse thought, but by controlling the quality of those broadcasts, you can pick the winners and losers in the audience's mind. And the only way around that is to have diverse control of media. You have to have diverse control of it.
Yeah, well,
and that means distributed. That means running on your computer in your house over a VPN, so even your ISP doesn't know who's broadcasting.
Whew. There you go.
Yeah, and that really is it. I mean, and that's why, Bitcoin ended up being such a revolutionary idea, this idea that you could distribute something. And Bitcoin isn't the only one, but you could talk about BitTorrent.
Bitcoin is an example, I think, of what governments do to open source projects that become inconvenient to them, because I personally think that Bitcoin Core has been co-opted by the banks, and that's why the Lightning network. And don't get me wrong, I came in here one day and I was singing the praises of the technical beauty of the Lightning network or something similar to it, but everything that Bitcoin Core has done has shown that they sabotaged our success at the moment of its inception by not doubling the block size and then figuring out the elegant solution later. And every IT professional of whom I have one who has run a production system knows that when that system's online and people are depending on it, you make that system work at all costs,
right,
to future headaches that you create for you, and then you liquidate those headaches by writing the code to sort out the mess you created. And in this, it's not even like there would be recovery. All it is a bigger block size. That's all it took. Change a constant in the code from one number to a number twice as large, or 4 times as large, or 8 times as large.
Okay, without going into the necessary 10 minutes it'll take to absolutely destroy all your arguments, but I would love to just get a show of hands. How many of you guys have used Lightning Network? I count 0. Yet people love to jump all over it, but that's okay.
I'm a Bitcoin nodist. No, the beauty of the Lightning Network is real, but look at who the board members are. They're banks and regulators. They're people who want to subvert the system and make it at best a creature of corporate America, which is not what Bitcoin is supposed to be.
Now he's telling me that I am a creature of
not corporate... you, sir. You're not on that board.
I know.
You're not one of George Carlin's club. These people are members in good standing of George Carlin's club, and they're trying to bring Bitcoin down.
Too funny. 855-450-FREE. Maybe you've got an opinion on Bitcoin. I'd love to talk to you about that. But we've got calls coming up. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can do that and you have to leave here. You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make...
Wait
now.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3788. You can also
3733.
Thank you. This is the time of night when Chris starts to get a little punchy. In studio, it's myself, Chris,
Rich Paul,
and Michael.
And we've been talking lots of topics, but Bernie Sanders just seems to keep bringing the calls in. So we're probably going to talk about that a little bit more. We have had a little bit of difficulty with our dump button, and the dump button is not something you want to take live phone calls without. So we're giving it just a little bit before we get back to David in San Francisco. I know he's has some thoughts about the war on drugs and the Spanish-American War and William Randolph Hearst, which I always
did want to get into that.
And of course, that was just. I mean, I've got a lot of information with this that I'd kind of like to backfill, because although Hearst was very important in this, there were a lot of people who brought this about.
Absolutely. And we're going to go back to David. David, can you hear us?
I sure can. Gosh darn it.
Apologies for all the technical difficulties. We just rather be safe than sorry. But please continue with your thoughts.
And please don't make us use
and by the way, it wasn't World War I that Hearst started. It was the Spanish-American War.
Now, what was that part of the story? Why did they start the Spanish-American War in your estimation?
Well, Hearst is kind of an interesting character. He inherited his newspaper. He was the Rupert Murdoch of the day, and he was fairly young when he did it. I think he was probably still in his 20s or so, he had inherited a newspaper out here in San Francisco from his father, and there's the famous artist Remington was down in Cuba when the battleship the Maine blew up, and they've since been able to find the Maine. Divers went down and they discovered that the explosion was from inside.
Whoops.
And it was probably a coal bunker that blew up and was not an attack. But the whole Spanish-American War was created based upon the sinking of the Maine, as if it was attacked in Cuban Harbor. And Cuba, if you know about Cuba, it was it and Haiti were such profitable properties. If I remember right, France owned Haiti, and when France had to give it up, the income being derived from Haiti constituted 1/3 of the total wealth or the total income stream of France. And France had a whole lot more colonies at the time, but 1/3 of the income stream of France at the time was coming from Haiti alone.
Wow.
So
That's
when
huge.
they try to claim that Haiti is a poor country, that's far from the truth. It's kept in poverty solely because it's such a profitable property, and Cuba the same way. They just basically created slavery down in there and tyranny, and there's profit in tyranny because you don't have to pay anybody. And then you get a lot of S&M freaks cracking whips, and they kind of create an economy with sadism. And that's, I think, probably part of the reason why people are interested in the Trump administration, because so many of the Trump
Hold on, David. You just segued 17 ways to Sunday, and you're going to have to allow us to catch up here.
Oh, my.
So we went from the Spanish-American War and France's ownership of Haiti
to sadism.
Its losses to sadism to Donald Trump.
Well, it's the economics. It's the economics of poverty, and so when you start looking at, I had originally called because of the police state kind of issues, and when you start looking at the rise of the police state under Richard Nixon, which was where I really started, it was they created the drug war knowing that that they wanted to keep the hippies in line, they wanted to keep the blacks in line. And so they came up with these phony drug wars in order to put so many people in prison that they would not be able to have a good future.
And you know who predicted that?
And that extends today. David, thank you
Ayn
for the
Rand.
call. Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, she said, we do not pass these laws to be obeyed. We pass them to be broken.
Right.
Because you cannot rule innocent men. You can only rule a country of criminals.
There you go. We're staying on the phones where we've got Noah calling in from Arkansas. Noah, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, yeah, I thank you for your show. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's pretty awesome. And I've only listened to a couple of minutes of your show, but it's pretty neat. I'm calling about the rise. Hold on.
Getting a lot of background noise. Sorry. Well,
Can
go
you hear
ahead.
me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
The rise in so-called nuisance ordinances, where your yard grass is it's turned into a crime, basically, where the municipality can
They'll do
criminalize
anything.
the property owner and seize private property for harmless conditions like overgrown yard grass, or if you use the wrong siding or the wrong driveway material, and I put that wrong in quotes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I was forced to file a pro se action in federal court challenging the constitutionality of what they call a nuisance ordinance. And I just encourage, if you're going through the same battle with your code enforcement, just know you have recourse available, pro se. It's spelled PROSE. You call any federal court clerk and they can send you a packet of information free to fight these things. It's really a criminal enterprise here locally.
It is. And another group of people that are wonderful for this are the Fully Informed Jury Association. Get the word out there about jury nullification.
Well, if it'll
say that
apply.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you are. You're just not allowed to say it in the courtroom.
Yeah, I think if I'm going where the caller is, I mean, these are things that will probably not arise to a jury trial. They're things that
you're
will
not allowed.
Some places
You're
they
not
do,
allowed
like
an
in Ann
attorney,
Arbor,
you're-
Michigan. If
Yep, go ahead.
You're not allowed an attorney. It's a criminal charge. And if you don't pay their fines and fees, you go to jail and they seize your property for overgrown yard grass. It's happened many times. It's incredible.
I know we discussed a couple weeks ago a case in Florida where the gentleman was out of town. He got his neighbor to cut his grass while he was gone. His neighbor actually passed away, and he was, sent things to an address he wasn't at. Lo and behold, he racked up over a summer, I think, something around $130,000 in fees. So they were going to steal and
you hit the
take his
jackpot
house.
right there.
Yeah.
Right there is how they do it. They go for the deceased and the widow. That's not hype. This is reality. Last year, from January 1 to July 4th, 117 in just a small town in western Arkansas. 117 properties were seized, and property owners were turned into criminals. 84% of those properties were owned by deceased or widows.
Wow.
And and what happens, though, from the seized property, they're sold to a local nonprofit.
Okay.
At a fraction of the cost, and low-income housing is erected on those properties. And they use words like blight, abatement, property values, those catchwords. And I just wanted to, if you're fighting this, or if you got a family member or a friend, they have recourse. You do not have to be a victim. Speak up.
Absolutely. Noah, thank you for the call. Noah's exactly right. I mean, these things occur all the time. This idea of, one that gets a lot of play is civil asset forfeiture. That means that a crime may have happened. It may not have happened because oftentimes...
Usually it didn't.
It didn't, but they're not even going to go to court. And federal law allows assets to be forfeited this way. And oftentimes they sweeten the deal by saying, we'll split anything you forfeit with you, Mr. Local Police Chief. And
that's how they steal your money from the roadside.
It is, and that is a horrible, perverse incentive. 855-450 free. Coming up on our last segment, you can still get on the air. This is Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNLife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNLife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNLife.com or 844-443-6637.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are
having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-453. We've been all over the board like we are prone to do. We've been talking the Spanish-American War. We've been talking William Randolph Hearst. We've been talking Bernie Sanders. We talked about Donald Trump. We talked about Walmart. We talked about minimum wage laws. And we just had a caller who was talking about pro se laws when you run into nuisance ordinances. Those are fun ones. That's when you don't cut your grass. They fine you a bunch of money, and then they say...
They try to take your house.
I don't know how that's a pro se law, because pro se is Latin meaning on its own behalf.
Right. Pro se means you're representing yourself in court instead of having a lawyer.
It does, but I wonder if that means they're suing the property on its own behalf. And believe it or not, there are times when the government will file criminal charges against a pile of money. That's called civil asset forfeiture and criminal asset forfeiture. They literally charge the money with the crime, the property with the crime,
which is
and
completely
use that
insane.
it's a complete end run around the Constitution. That's the Constitution says anything over $20, you have to you have your rights.
But that's what happens. You'll see a lawsuit that says the United States of America versus $32,515.18. That's an example, and it's asinine. We've seen more and more states start to push back on this system to say that we will not allow civil asset forfeiture to go on within our borders. But guess what? It still exists. It still exists at the federal level.
And it's not enough to repeal that law, I don't think. The rot is too deep. The stink is too bad. The only thing that we can do is burn it down. Burn it to the ground, or at least secede from it and escape from it, because it's become so corrupt that it cannot be fixed. I'm more convinced of that today than I have ever been before.
Yeah, and it's horrible. We hear these stories, and we share the news. I mean, we bring in stories that we've read, and nothing to me is more heartbreaking than to find out that someone is losing their property, something they worked for their whole lives, and they're losing it over what basically comes down to government going, gotcha, You didn't think of this one, so we're going to use this little loophole, and we're going to exercise our power and steal it from you. And we've got the power of law behind us. It's obscene.
Two can play at that game, because the other thing that you can occasionally do is bring them at least partially to bear. And I'm going to disclose something that will probably horrify my attorney. I intended to use that machete as a weapon.
Oh, dear.
And I intended to use it against police.
Oh,
what?
Oh,
but the manner in which I intended to use it could never have delivered a fatal blow. I intended to use it as a trap for the corrupt. I intended to use it as a trap for tyrants. I put it in that trunk with every charge, with every intention that some idiot out there would think I was just another moron that he could put a charge on and that would take a plea when I wasn't in violation of the law, but I'm not that guy. And that's why I was carrying that machete in my trunk, and it won't kill the person that I used it against, but hopefully it will make them look stupid.
That's never too difficult to do, and I applaud you for thinking that through. That's a good idea. We're going to the phones where we've got David in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Headline, nobody gets new prison tattoo.
Is that what it's going to be? Nobody gets new prison tattoo?
Nobody gets new prison tattoo. It could happen. It could happen, but I don't think so. I think I'm gonna knock this one out of the park at trial. I'm just looking forward to saying that on the stand with the under oath with the cameras rolling, and I really hope there will be a side cam for the prosecutor's face.
And there's a new ad making the rounds on radio. Nobody likes ED. Now, nobody doesn't have to deal with ED anymore.
Nobody doesn't have any trouble with that,
There you go. David, thanks for the call. We're going to go to Jerry in West Virginia, trying to get all these calls in before the end of the show. Jerry, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Well, I got in late on your conversation, so I really didn't catch the beginning of it, but I heard someone say that the government was stealing someone's property.
They were doing that through the use of nuisance ordinances, like you didn't cut your grass.
Okay, I'm familiar with that, but let's all remember the government owns every square inch of property in the United States. We don't own it. We never will own it. We only rent it or lease it. And the second we don't pay our taxes, the government takes their property back.
Then you find out who it really belongs to, don't you?
Yep.
Yes, you do.
Isn't that an elaborate fraud, though? Isn't that really just an elaborate fraud? Because you paid to own that property.
Years of my life thinking that, I'm going to work to own my own piece of property, which I did. But along the way, I realized, hey, I'll never own this. I'll be allowed to stay on this government property as long as I paid the government to stay here. But the second I don't, I'm out of here.
Well, it's not fraud when the government does it, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, the thing is, that's why there's a Second Amendment in the Constitution. That's why we have a right to keep and bear arms, because eventually it just gets too deep and you can't untangle it anymore.
And a lot of states, a few of the older states, New Hampshire included, has a right of revolution. This idea that to allow a government that has grown too big for its britches, at the federal law, you do have the right to keep and bear arms, but it's spelled out in our Constitution right here in New Hampshire that we would be remiss not to throw off a government that has become slavish. And what's the other term they use in that part of
good God. I'll bring it up on the screen.
Article
the
10?
10th.
Yeah,
Everybody
Article
should
10.
know what Article 10 of the New Hampshire Constitution says. Please. Let's bring it up and read it right.
We've got Google in the studio. We can manage this.
But I'll give you a piece of the Declaration of Independence while he's looking for it. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that we are endowed by our creators with certain unalienable rights, that amongst these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted amongst men, and that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it.
Jerry, I'm going to leave you with this. This is New Hampshire's right of revolution. Government being instituted for the common benefit, protection, security of the whole community, and not for the private interest or emolument of any one man, family, or class of men. Therefore, whenever the ends of government are perverted and public liberty manifestly endangered, and all other means of redress are ineffectual, the people may and of right ought to reform the old or establish a new government. The doctrine of non-resistance against arbitrary power and oppression is absurd, slavish, and destructive of the good and happiness of mankind.
Ramen.
Yeah, so that's...
Sounds good to me. Should be in every state.
I agree completely. Thank you for your call, Jerry.
All right, goodbye.
Have a good night.
Peace.
This idea that we should just sit, passively by and take whatever insults they hurl at us.
Oh, no.
Whatever. That's something that too many people believe is a crazy idea. I believe that it's crazy to allow it to continue.
Yeah. And just let me slip in. I left out one phrase there because I was hurrying to let you get in, so that wasn't a perfect quote.
No problem. No, you were very good, and I'm always amazed when Rich will be sitting back and then he'll fire off these long quotes. And sometimes
from memory.
Yes, from memory. Rich isn't sitting here Googling these things. It just comes to him.
There's some things stuck in my head. It's mostly Shakespeare and Jefferson, but I've got some other guys in there. I've got Frederick Douglass.
Ah, there you go.
When I left you, I took nothing but what belonged to me, and by no means reduced your means of making an honest living. This was written to his former master. Frederick Douglass was an escaped slave.
Yes. Unbelievable. It is, it's insane that the idea that we would shrug off these chains, that we should not even consider them. I'm asking you to consider them as we wrap up yet another episode of Free Talk Live. Join us again tomorrow. If you enjoyed tonight's show, tune in again tomorrow and you'll hear more ideas of liberty and ways to take back our freedom.
7 to 10 Eastern.
7 to 10 Eastern. This is Free Talk.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.